Good morning. Um, I'm sorry, good morning. My name is Cheryl Woodard, and I'm one of the meditation teachers here at EBS. I'm coming to you from our bookstore this morning because there are people in our meditation hall doing the Sunday morning 30-minute silent sitting meditation together. And today I want to talk about compassion and actually unlimited, unbiased, impartial compassion is one of the highest ideals in Buddhist teachings. And it is believed to be a quality that is inherent in all of us, but something easily corrupted or overturned by anger and fear. We find it hard to maintain a peaceful and compassionate state of mind when we are captured by anxiety and aggression. The teachers say that while strong negative emotions can chase away our compassion, we can also chase away our anger and fear by cultivating compassion. So we cultivate compassion not only because it helps the world, but because it also heals us. But how to grow a loving heart in the middle of dangerous times? Today I want to talk about several Buddhist practices for cultivating compassion that you can practice when your mind is overwhelmed by anger or anxiety. And you start, of course, always start with compassion for yourself. You can't share what you don't have. So you start by acknowledging tenderness for your own state of being. Mindfulness meditation practice is the basic practice for all Buddhists, and I will talk about that in a minute and lead us through a short mindfulness practice. But the ones for compassion include contemplation, aspiration, and visualization. Contemplation simply means to consider something thoughtfully and with an inquiring mind. For example, we can consider the Dalai Lama's comment about compassion. He has often said that Buddhism boils down to two words, no exceptions, meaning that we must always consider all human beings as family, no matter what. Pope Francis echoed this idea just a few weeks before he died, when he urged his followers to meditate on the love that builds a fraternity open to all without exception. So we can contemplate what no exceptions would mean in our own lives, what it would feel like to really and truly understand that we can't reject anybody no matter what we do, what they do, or have done. We can condemn and resist bad behavior, thoroughly reject bad behavior, but we cannot forsake or reject the ones who behave badly. Or as Christians say, hate the sin, love the sinner. That's a big one. So we have to think about that and see if you can have some meaning for you. Aspiration means to acknowledge and express a heartfelt wish to be more compassionate by saying the wish out loud. For example, here's a prayer that we recite in a couple of our practice groups here at EBS. We say, all mother sentient beings limitless as the sky, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path, may they experience happiness and be separated from suffering. So that's you can get up every morning and aspire that you could feel that way, have that wish for everyone. Visualization means to deliberately picture something in your mind's eye that inspires a change of heart. For example, there's a practice of recalling all the people who have nurtured and supported me through my life. We call them our benefactors. I try to see their faces looking at me with love, and then extend that love, picture extending that love to people who have never enjoyed that kind of support in their own lives. I try to imagine that love reaching people, comforting them, healing them, like a cloud of incense, maybe, a smell, a sweet smell that floats in their direction and envelops them, something like that. Another visualization is calling to mind the people who are doing the bad things, trying to picture their faces and to understand the pain that drives their bad behavior. And then, again, condemning what they do, but at the same time extending the wish that their hearts could be softened, that their suffering could end. And imagining that my compassion reaches them too, like a cool breeze on a very, very hot day, and that it does actually provide them some relief. So that's a little bit more tricky, maybe a little bit more challenging, but very powerful. So you can contemplate what compassion means, especially for anybody that distresses you. You can visualize them being relieved of their suffering so that they can stop behaving badly, perhaps. And you could express the wish that all human beings are free of suffering so that there is no more anger and violence. So, like I said, though, the main basic practice is mindfulness practice, because mindfulness practice establishes a platform, if you will, a place, a secure spot from which you can engage in these other, maybe more challenging ideas and practices. And how does mindfulness meditation include this no exceptions doctrine? Well, the answer is that mindfulness involves extending compassionate love and acceptance towards your own mind. As I said, you can't share what you don't have. So mindfulness practice is itself a way to love yourself without conditions. And it involves sitting and being with whatever comes up in you, even the ugly, scary thoughts that might come up in you, and having compassion towards those thoughts, and having equanimity towards those thoughts, and staying with yourself, staying supportive of yourself, even when bad things are happening inside of you. That practice gives us a foundation from which all the other compassionate practices can develop. So it's a practice of loving yourself without conditions. And it, I want to remind you, has three parts: settling, opening, and observing. And so settling means giving yourself a comfortable, upright, and awake posture. You're putting your body into a posture like that. You could think of this part, the settling part, as a kind of play acting. You are assuming the benevolent posture of a Buddha because you want to emulate or become one. Experience being present and alive. Enjoy your state, your current state of health, that you are at peace, that you are safe and secure. can feel all of that in the way that you settle your body into your chair or your cushion. And then, when you feel settled, you open your awareness outward by paying some small attention to your breath as it moves in and out of your body. You could think of this as another kind of play acting, allowing your awareness to expand beyond your own comfort zone towards an experience of something bigger than just your own survival. Experience space and a sense of openness, freedom, connection, peace. All of this comes by letting your attention rest on the activity of your breathing body as it draws in goodness from the space around you and as it exhales staleness. And then the third part, when you feel settled and open and your mind is somewhat synchronized with your breathing, you can observe. This is the heart of it, really. And here's where the no exceptions idea really comes alive. From the settled and open experience of your breathing body, you observe your own mental activity without judging or rejecting any part of it. Experience acceptance. You actually practice universal love right here by accepting and loving your own thoughts and emotions, good and bad, happy and sad. So that eventually, with the experience of loving yourself, you can extend this impartial love to other people too. And like I said at the beginning, if you are already overwhelmed with anxiety or anger or grief or really hard, bad feelings, it might be hard to do this mindfulness meditation because you just don't have the space in your heart for this peacefulness that we're talking about. You just can't get there. And that's where you would go, maybe try one of the others. You might try thinking about what it means to be accepting and impartial and loving no matter what. Or you might use an aspiration prayer to speak out loud the wish that everyone could have what they need and be free from the kind of suffering that you're experiencing yourself. And you might visualize your team, if you will, your posse, your people, descending into you and helping you the way they would love to do if you would let them, or if they could, or if they were here, surrounding you with their love and their support. You can call on your allies to come to your aid, so to speak. All of those things can help expand and pull you out of the trap of anger and negativity. And here's the bottom line. If we want to live in a world where we're safe from enemies, then we can't regard anyone as an enemy. Nobody will be safe until everyone is free from hate. I hope we can regard hatred itself as the true enemy and work to banish hatred from our own hearts. Even the most subtle hatred where we hate, the shape of our body or some thought that we have or the sound of our voice or something about ourselves. Even that subtle hatred needs to be banished from the world. So if you feel tempted to hate people or make them into enemies, or to hate something about yourself and set yourself in opposition to that, please consider trying these methods for cultivating compassion instead. See if they work for you. That's it for today. I hope this is helpful to you, and I wish you all the best. And I know things are tough, and we can do it though. Just stay soft, stay loving, stay open, stay aware, stay present, and see what the next moment brings. Who knows, it could be better. All the best. Till the next time.